The Last of Us 1 remake, or The Last of Us Part 1 as it's now called. When it was first announced, I was kind of confused, I guess. It was something nobody was expecting, nobody was asking for. And to be fair, just a couple of months ago, I was still enjoying the remaster with the PlayStation 4 Pro updates, and you can download it on your PlayStation 5. I even think it's part of the free games you can download as soon as you have a PlayStation Plus subscription. So, not so long ago, I was still enjoying the experience. And we all know The Last of Us 1 well, let me step back. For me, it's one of the best games and the best new franchises developed in the past period, the recent history, if you will. Um, and when I was owning the PlayStation 3 and I bought The Last of Us one time when it came out, the whole experience was overwhelming. I just binged the hell out of that game from beginning to end. It took me a weekend, but it was one of the best experiences I've had in a long time with a game, and it was Naughty Dog's farewell to a fantastic platform system. The PlayStation 4 was just around the corner, and um, yeah, it was. Everybody knows that it wasn't the most optimal game to release on the PlayStation 3. I think as soon as a year after that, the remaster came out for the PlayStation 4, and shortly after that, the updates for the PlayStation 4 Pro. And I think everybody can agree that this game ran way better on the PlayStation 4, but it was Naughty Dog's gift to the PlayStation 3, farewell to a great system. And I think Naughty Dog just pushed the boundaries of the PlayStation 3 to its absolutely freaking limits, and maybe sometimes even over it, because it wasn't flawless. It was frame rate drops left and right, but the experience on the PlayStation 3 and what they've technically achieved with The Last of Us was, I think, it was pure Champions League. And now, after a few days playing The Last of Us Part 1 remake, Naughty Dog build it from the ground up for the PlayStation 5. And is there my question was for myself, is there a difference in experience? And the short answer is no. For me, no. Of course, it, the graphical update you have is completely overwhelming. I'm not a digital foundry. I'm not a channel that's going in depth into what you're seeing in the ray tracing and how the pixel count is left and right and what's improved, and it's and the reflections, the water, you can go through it, everything. But for me, from a consumer standpoint, it's always, is there a difference in experience? No, the experience is not per se tied to a better resolution and to graphics, because the experience I had with the PlayStation 4 Pro updates from the PlayStation 3 original is still fantastic. If you play that right now, you will have an extremely good experience in storytelling and the story itself and how it develops. And what is quite obvious is that Naughty Dog put an extreme amount of love into this remake. It's an homage to one of the best games ever developed, and bringing that onto par with modern day standards in graphics and and what they can achieve. It's fantastic. But is it worth now your $80? If you have never played The Last of Us, if such a person exists and you are that person, if you are that person that never played The Last of Us 1, then this is the best way to experience. Full stop. Then I wouldn't say go play the PlayStation 4 Pro or the remaster or whatever. No, just buy this one then. And although there is a price tag to it, of course, because the original one is fairly cheaper than the remake that just came out. But if I would give you an advice, go for the remake, because the experience is exactly the same. The story is exactly the same. The environments are roughly exactly the same. Roughly exactly the same. That's a weird sentence, but you know what I mean. You know, of course, there are changes from an artistic point of view, but there are no extra or new areas to explore. It's just the exact same game. You also have the DLC left behind. Thing that's missing is the online version, the online capabilities. But in terms of single player game, and for me, The Last of Us is a single player game, then the experience is exactly the same. And then I would advise you to go for the 4K remake capabilities that the PlayStation 5 has to offer to you. But to me, it always still is the question, was this absolutely necessary to do? And this game is a 10 out of 10. It's a 10 out of 10. If the PlayStation 3 did not have The Last of Us, and this would be the first release of The Last of Us, this is again a 10 out of 10. Full stop. Maybe even 11 out of 10. But this is such a freaking good game in terms of pacing, in terms of gameplay, in terms of storytelling, and how you can tie yourself into these characters. Of course, we now know that we now have The Last of Us 2, but please try to set that aside and try to think what would have happened if this was the first game. That was absolutely fantastic, but it's not. It released over 10 years ago on the PlayStation 3, and now we have this game. I can't say this is a bad game because it's not. It's The Last of Us 1. The only thing is it was kind of unnecessary, I think, in terms of experience. And that's what makes it so weird to talk about this game because you can't say, "Oh fuck this game." You can't say that. It's one of the best games, if not for you personally, the best game ever created. Um, but this remake, it's you know there is so much love in this remake. The source material has been unaltered. It's just been brought up to standards, and it looks stunning. Let's not forget you can choose, of course, with performance, fidelity, and all those modes are in there. It's absolutely the world of The Last of Us 1 is so beautiful right now. Sometimes you can just stand there and look around. And that's something I did at the PlayStation 3 as well because it pushed the very limits of what was capable at the time with the hardware. So the game was already really beautiful, but it's yeah, of course, with the PlayStation 5, you can do so much more right now. Um, so a lot of love has gone in there, and I think that if you've never played The Last of Us and you're gonna play that version for now, do it. What is also a big differentiator is the 3D audio that PlayStation 5 has to offer, especially with a headset on. It's the sound is fantastic. There isn't really a huge difference if you play it over a home cinema set, but with the headphones on, there is a significant change you can hear. So it's rough. Is it a game that we needed? No. Is it a game that we asked for? No. Was it necessary? Maybe not, but we have it, and I it's it's beautiful. It's a masterpiece. It in terms of game, it was already a masterpiece, but they took away the already fantastic wrap package and they replaced it with absolutely stunning, shiny wrapping around the game. And one could say, yeah, this game deserved it. Yeah, well, maybe so. Maybe it did deserve this treatment for a classic. So, these are just my 2 cents, guys. I'm enjoying The Last of Us remake. Hope you do too. If you haven't played The Last of Us yet, part 1, then this is the way to go from my perspective. If you've already played The Last of Us 1 at the PlayStation 3, PlayStation 4, PlayStation 4 Pro, whatever, there is no immediate need to have this experience. But as a true gamer, you can't resist playing it again, especially with these graphical updates. Movement 6, out.